Right, everybody, we're back with another new show we have not been to in a long time. So I have never been to this cruise night. I've been to their car show. This is the Wheels of Time over in Brockton on Main Street near the Brewster Ambulance Facility. I would tell you they have their car show actually September 21st with a rain date of the 28th. Come check these guys out. There's a video from a couple of years ago. It was great. This is a great little area. Today's a little light, you know, just like last night. I think we've had a lot of heat and there was some threat of thunderstorms. Right now you can see the sky is beautiful, but there are some really cool cars here today, so I'm going to shoot a few of the cars here behind me. We'll come back at the end, we'll kind of do a quick wrap up, but thank you for checking out the channel. Okay, the first car I'm going to start with tonight is this 1972 Chevelle Malibu. I saw it come in. A couple things on the Chevelle I really like. So it's not an SS, it is a Malibu car. I didn't talk to the owner. It's most likely a 307 or a 350 car. He has added the cowl induction hood onto this. I like the style on this. It kind of gives me a total creamsicle vibe, which I think is super cool. Aesthetically, you know, I'm a big fan of the Chevelles. The favorite for me are 68 and 69, but I do like the 70 through 72. I think they're super sharp. This does have the Rally Sport wheels, which look great on the car. Again, I love the orange paint, I guess, especially against that white interior. You can see in here, again, there's nothing, you know, as far as, you know, trying to, you know, make this look like something it isn't. You can see the bar speedometer, the kind of the, you know, the basic idiot light warning lights that you'd have. It wasn't anything crazy. It does look like it has the original radio, which is kind of cool. Down below it, they've added an aftermarket radio. But just a car I've always liked. These Chevelles, I think, are some of the best looking cars from that muscle car era. And this is just a great color combination. I'm gonna hit it from the back here so you can see the paint. And it just looks great in that color. We're gonna shoot up here today is this 71 Roadrunner. This is when the body style had changed over. For a long time, this didn't get a lot of love. They had like the GTX and this body style. All look pretty similar. I think it's actually aged really gracefully. I like the style on this. The nice thing on these cars too, which is kind of cool, is again, you have, you know, the really basic, simple hubcaps with the trim ring. You have like the petty blue color or the B5 blue, 340, obviously the Roadrunner emblem on the front end, which looks super cool on these cars. And then you have these great interiors. I thought they did a really nice job at Plymouth in the interiors on these. The high back buckets. I like the console setup that looks a little protected from the passenger. The really kind of these pretty comprehensive gauges for back then that look great. The round gauge is kind of built into it, so a very cool car. And again, I think these are starting to really appreciate in value. This really sharp SN95 pull-in. I'm not sure if it's a real Celine. It does have a Cobra, you know, front grille emblem. It does have the Celine wheels. It has a slotted-in drilled rotors, the Celine body kit. It's a super sharp car. By the way, it sounded amazing pulling in. The Wildwood brakes with the slotted-in drilled rotors. I'll talk about the interior in just a second, but it does have the Celine body kit. It does have the S281 emblem on the back. Like I said, not sure if it is actually a true Celine, but if it isn't, it's a really nice tribute. They did a really good job, and like I said, it sounded great. I'm a big fan of the SN95s. You know, I do like the new edge style a little better than the first versions. Again, these were a little softer, or more European, kind of like the Camaros. Nothing wrong with this, still a great looking car. And the interiors didn't change a ton, so they did a nice job here upgrading the interior. We talk about that triple bubble setup. So the third bubble in the center would have had originally the clock in this. They've changed it, looks like, to a boost gauge and maybe a fuel gauge. So they've added a couple of additional gauges in here, some billet aluminum inside. It looks really sharp all together, but this thing sounded great. And again, the SN95s, I think, are pretty sharp cars. We have an SN95 GT over here. So this one has the kind of upgraded bullet style wheels that would have been a couple of years past this version. This is also interesting, right, because this is probably like a 97, but they've integrated the hood scoop from the new edge. So they have the vents from the earlier SN95s from 94 to 99, but they've upgraded to the hood scoop that would be on like the 2001 through 2004 GTs. It actually blends in pretty seamlessly. I also like that they've taken the grille delete and they've added the blacked out horse. Looks pretty cool. So a couple of cool SN95s up here today. The next car we're gonna shoot up here tonight is this kind of drag style Vega. I heard the car come in, it sounded great. It's kind of got the old style like Mickey Thompson drag stars in the front, like the Weld drag lights in the back with the Mickey Thompson semi-street slicks, which look very cool on the car. I mean, you see that street slick, that is the very bare minimum of tread to be street legal. I heard this thing coming in, it sounded great. The dual exhaust looks great on it. Looks like we have some type of a fuel bypass or a power bypass on the back for drag racing. We can see that the air cleaner is sticking out of the hood. Inside the car is pretty bare bones. They've got racing seats. It looks like we have a lockout B&M shifter, right? So we can actually lock in, lock out, reverse, slap it into gear. So this looks like a pretty cool drag setup. You can see the skinnies in the front. This is a drag car that was done probably, 15 or 20 years ago, and it's been used as a drag car. And like I said, coming in, it actually sounded amazing. So kind of a very cool car. Something pretty different right now. This 04 Blazer, this was what they call the Blazer Extreme. This was a factory option. It was out for a few years, and they would give it an upgraded body kit, a little bit brighter color, right? This was pretty cool. All of it was designed to, really kind of hit that aesthetic that they were going for in the early 2000s to give this kind of some flash. It still had the 4.3 V6. By the way, that was a great motor, right? We go all the way back to the Typhoon with the 4.3, which had the turbo, which was one of the fastest cars when it was made. And that 4.3 V6 was just basically a Chevy 5.7 V8 with 2 cylinders lopped off. It had plenty of power, plenty of torque, but I haven't seen one of these Blazers in a long time. This one's in great shape. I really do love the black and blue color contrast. It looks great. The wheels look good on it. So just something I haven't seen in a long time, so I wanted to share it with you because I couldn't tell you the last time I saw one of these extreme limited edition trucks, especially not one in this kind of shape. We're gonna go right over next to this C6 Corvette. I don't know much about it. He just pulled in. He had his dog with him. His dog was super friendly. I have to shoot this because my wife absolutely loves purple. And to see this in purple is very cool. And the C6 is always just a great car. So I'll shoot this one really quickly. But I want to hit it in the purple before we head up to a few other cars. Second night in a row, we have a beautiful Yenko tribute. At least I believe it's a tribute. This Nova is gorgeous in the red and black. Again, everything that's period correct for back there. The Hearst equipped sticker on the back or emblem on the back looks great in the black and the red. Now, I flat out told everybody I am not a red car guy. I would absolutely make the exception for a car this beautiful. And I like the car. Again, the body lines flow great. I love these style wheels. The American Racing Heritage style wheels in black really complement this body. Now, this is a 4-speed car, so we do have a manual, which is great. And there's a 350 motor, right? So again, everything in these Novas, there were tons of 350s. Could you have gotten a bigger motor? Absolutely. Did you need one in a car this size? Probably not. But it just looks great. I mean, again, this is a very nice version of a Yenko Deuce Tribute. And like I told you last night, you could get a Yenko in a Camaro, in a Nova, in a Chevelle. The Novas were super popular because they were a little smaller than the Chevelles, a little lighter. People could really kind of whip these around. They were great at the drag strip. So this is a great looking version. Love the front end on the car. Just a very cool version of that. Next car we're gonna shoot up here, we have 2 Chevelles. We just came off that gorgeous Nova. This one is a beautiful Chevelle SS 396 car. Blue with the white racing stripes, the absolute right wheels for the car. What I want to do is slow down, is I really want to talk about a couple of things on here. One is, let's look at these gorgeous racing stripes, right? And this is factory correct. The racing stripes would go right into the rear window. They would not go over the top of the car, and they would go back and start at the beginning of the hood and go to the end. Cowl induction, 396, 350 horse, looks incredible. But what I really like in this car, as you can see, it is a true SS. It has a 4-speed. It has all the right gauges, so it has the correct Chevelle gauges. You would have the different, circular gauges versus that singular speedometer you would have on the non-SS cars. So this is absolutely right for that car, and it looks great. This one has a Muncie shifter here with the 4-speed. Again, looks phenomenal in the car. The car I want to shoot next to us here, though, 1972 Chevelle 350. I love the story on this car. So this car is a one family-owned car from new. So this would have been more of a bare bones version of the Chevelle, kind of like that Malibu we shot back there, but with the 350 motor, automatic transmission. I'd imagine a turbo 350. The more basic interior, just like we saw between the two. This is that single bar speedometer with all the, the warning lights that you'd have. So much more of a simple car, but it looks great in this color. And that, this is a little lighter color, almost more of a green than that butternut we saw last night. With the black wheels, looks great on the car. Guys, what a beautiful 1960 Chrysler New Yorker 413 motor. What I love about these cars, though, there's a couple of things. One is just the iconic style on these. Again, completely unique and different for that year. I love that hood ornament. You look at the length of the car. I love the fins on it. Again, the wire wheels. This just oozes class. The owner and I were just chatting, and this is very much as the equal of anything like Cadillac or Lincoln would have put out from that time. Wasn't quite as popular, but when you get into the inside of the car, I love the interior, right? You think about, they still have that simplistic speedometer, but the way they actually built it is curved over, just looks great. Again, another one of these cars without a parking gear. So this car, you actually park in neutral and put on the parking brake. It is a push button transmission, but look at the chrome on the inside of the car. The seats, it's super comfortable. The body lines are incredible. You even have like this little Continental kit on the back, the beautiful looking fins. This is just a great looking car from 60. And again, the cars you would have back in 60 from a luxury standpoint, this is when we talked about like Cadillac as the standard of the world. And Lincoln and Chrysler were working very hard to be competitive with them, and they did a great job.
Yeah, nice talking to you.
Our next car we're going to shoot up here is another absolutely gorgeous Nova. We saw that, that Nova Yenko Deuce. This is a very similar style with that Yenko style side stripe. This one doesn't claim any Yenko heritage, but under the hood is phenomenal. I mean, just very well done. The right amount of chrome. It looks great. The wheels look great in this car, but what really this car stands out to me is in the paint. When you see the paint on this car and how it pops in the sun, it looks amazing in this like lime green color. Phenomenal looking Nova. Again, just absolutely gorgeous. Just some very interesting stuff up here tonight. This here today in honor of my Uncle Danny, who was a absolute loved Grand Prix. He's owned a million of these. Usually he owns 70 to 72. This is a 74 SJ. You know, I was asking the owner, I thought it was a 75 and I messed up. It is 74. 74 was the 1 year for this rear window that was like a split window setup, almost like the Corvettes. Gorgeous car, big 455. You would run into a little bit of the smog emissions. Remember last night I talked about the Super Duty Trans Ams with the 455? Pontiac had the big motor in this, and you can see because it's an SJ, a J would have had the 400. But my favorite part of these cars were the interiors. The cockpit style interior that would, was canted more towards the driver. These, absolutely the right version of this. The one you want is one with a console shifter, not a column shifter, and they look great. The front end on these still look pretty good too. As these would age and a couple more, as they would get older, the front ends kind of lost a little bit of the aesthetic they would have here. I still think this one looked really good with the single headlight, that pointy nose that was iconic for Pontiac on everything that would be out in the late 70s. So just a kind of a really cool version of a 74 Grand Prix. We also have a Cougar XR7 351. The XR7 was kind of that special high performance package. I like these Cougars. This is clearly a driver, but a nice driver. I really do like the touch with the Cougar center caps in blue and the blue line tires. I think it looks great on the car. And I told you guys, I love a driver car. There's nothing wrong with having a driver car because you can go and enjoy it everywhere. You can leave here from the cruise night, go down to Cape Cod Cafe and get a bar pizza, leave it in the parking lot, and not freak out if you get a little ding or a scratch. And there's so much to be said for that, but you can also come out to a cruise night like this, have a great time, and enjoy the heck out of the, the camaraderie with everybody, and have a cool, fun car. There's this absolutely gorgeous C2 Corvette, either a 66 or a 67. It is a 427. It does have a cowl induction hood versus a Stinger hood, but it looks because they probably put a high-rise manifold on with a larger carburetor, and they needed the space to clear that, which the Stinger wouldn't do. I love the Chrysler SS wheels on this. Again, I think it looks great. And this one has a little bit of a rake stance with a little bit bigger Chrysler SS wheel in the back. There's nothing wrong with a hot rod Corvette in blue. Looks awesome. A manual car with the 427. You can see under the hood that cutout in the cowl induction hood to actually allow air to go in. I think it looks awesome. And I saw this when I came in, and I love the style. The only thing to me that, as I look at this and I think about the aesthetic they're going for, if it were mine, maybe I would do a side exhaust. But again, it looks great the way it is. But that would be the one other thing I would add into it. We also do have a couple of darts up here. We'll shoot these darts. One is for sale. I've shot this purple one at a couple of shows over the years, but the next one over here is actually for sale. He's actually pulled the for sale sign on it, but these are just a couple of neat darts from that era. Gorgeous Impala right here. I've talked about these Impalas a ton, right? The 3 tail lights, the upgraded interior. This one's great with these earlier version of a Rally Sport wheel with the knockoff center cap in the red. Dual antennas, just a gorgeous looking Impala. And then the last car I have up here tonight is a 64.5 Mustang convertible. So this would be a 64.5, you can tell because it's a 260 motor. Ford used the 260 until the beginning of 65, then it would transition into the 289s. It's so funny, I was literally just talking to my cousin Bobby about this earlier today, about the first gen. These were based on a Falcon platform in 63. They became the Mustangs in 64.5 as a 65 model year. The whole first generation had the smaller V8 and the 260 in that first iteration. This one looks super cool. So another cool car up here tonight. Guys, that's gonna do it. Kind of a smaller turnout tonight. Please come check these guys out. They do the opposite of Bass Pro. So every other Thursday. So Bass Pro is next Thursday. They will be the following Thursday after that. September 21st is their actual full-blown show. I went to it a few years ago. They had like 150 cars. It was a great turnout. They do like 50 trophies for popular vote. I'm gonna turn around and just shoot that Corvette for a second as I finish speaking, because that thing sounds awesome as it's leaving. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with a hot rod Corvette. That thing sounds absolutely incredible. But as we go along, that's gonna do it today, guys. I'm hoping to get to a show this weekend, depending on weather. You know, we're expecting some rain potentially on Sunday. I'm hoping we don't, because there's 2 shows potentially I could go to. Guys, if you haven't done it so far, please hit that subscribe button. We're getting super close to 1,000 subscribers. I appreciate all of you. I look forward to seeing you at the shows. And if you see me, please come grab me. Let's chat about your car. Thanks.